Ranger.
Okay, well, we're into the game. First game of this second best of 3 series of the day. Flipside Tactics up against Power Rangers. Over on the side of the Radiant Flipside, what do we got? We've got Tidehunter being played by Crit. We're going to see Blan on that Spirit Breaker. It will be Rise on the Vengeful Spirit, Ace on the Medusa, and finally Baby Knight himself on the Wind Ranger. I'm OD Pixel. I'm joined by Draskell, as always, here at DreamLeague. And Draskell, what's coming out on the side of the Power Rangers?
All right, so I'm gonna say that Cheshire Cat, he's gonna be playing on the Faceless Void. We're gonna see a Queen of Pain here towards the middle lane. I believe that's Shaklo, correct? Standing in?
I'd imagine it is, yeah. We've been talking about him, yeah.
All right, King R is gonna be playing on that Skywrath Mage. Treant is gonna be handled by J4, and of course it leaves Deira, who's gonna be playing on the Troll Warlord.
And all straight away, look at this going straight to the high ground. Whoa, watch out, Power Rangers. You've just walked into 3 members of Flipside, and you've just given away first blood as Skywrath Mage goes down. Rise will fall in return. Maybe Flipside can find even more. It's J4 and Deira, they're getting trapped up here. Deira getting fairly low. They're looking for Baby Knight. Baby Knight running into the trees will go down. Mystic Snake comes through again. Blan trying to fight up J4, getting very, very low. One more right click should do it from Blan. Can he chase this one down? He's got charge in a few well, he's got charge. He's just waiting for the mana to come back up. J4 pops the clarity, heads to the high ground, eats the tango as well. Blan really looking for the charge here. I mean, we've seen Flipside, they did get the first blood, but 2 heroes went down in return on their side, and well, Deira forcing Blan back. They get first blood, but they do lose 2 heroes there. I mean, is that Power Rangers coming out on top, or is the first blood gold really worth that?
First blood gold's nice, especially since it went the way of the Medusa, probably one of the best heroes to get it. And it looks like we are going to see some kind of aggressive laning here, at least for the time being. I don't think this is the lanes that... Well, maybe they did want to do this at the start. It's a pretty scary lane. If you get charged and stunned, you could very easily die as a hero who is as squishy as Skywrath. So maybe Flipside are going with the mentality of our heroes are just really beefy, so you can't really engage into us. And that just comes down to if the troll can farm well enough, like out CS what the Medusa has, it's going to be a bit difficult though, because Medusa's base damage is slightly better.
Indeed, I mean, in terms of the laning from Flipsides, I'm liking the bottom lane. They've put the Tidehunter up against the Void, and Tidehunter should be able to do pretty damn well in like kind of shutting down the Void in terms of farm here. Against
all melee, Tide is an absolute nightmare. Maybe Axe is one of the few heroes in the game who doesn't really care about getting his damage reduced because you just have to worry about spin, but top lane?
Yeah, top lane there was a charge onto the Skywrath, but Venge actually goes down when Flipside try and go aggressive, and now it's Blan on the retreat, so they go aggressive, but they lose a hero, and you don't want that to be happening on an aggressive tri-lane.
You don't want to let the Skywrath get ahead either. That's a really big issue. Is if King R gets like level 2, level 3, then you have to worry about your concussive shot coming out and the Ancient Seal as well. And not to mention the cooldown on Arcane Bolt gets a lot lower as you start to level it up, and the damage output scales pretty well. So I would be a little bit concerned right now if I'm Flipside is, okay, we got our first blood, and that was great. But now we need to make sure that we do something in our laning phase, because even if mid, for example, goes even, which right now it's relatively even, and if bottom lane goes well, which it is, then we're still potentially losing 2 lanes.
Indeed, and well, top lane again. See them coming out a little bit PR. They've got the Treant in the side shop with the Skywrath as well, making it very hard for Flipside to come forward for the farm. Ace so far in this lane, he's managed to find 5 CS, but certainly losing out lane-wise to this defensive tri-lane. Gerard just behind though. Rise has been able to create a little bit of space, but all in all, very tense up here in the top lane. They're going in on Rise with the whirling axes as well. There will be a charge coming through onto Deira. Rise very low. One final punch there from J4 on the tree. Will find the kill. Maybe they go for more. We see the Arcane Bolt coming onto Blan. Blan will be able to retreat out of that one. But again, Venge dying in this aggressive tri-lane. It's really not going how Flipside planned it to do. I mean, how do they deal with this? Do they stop sending the Venge up here? Do they look for rotations elsewhere? Or do they just have to play a little bit more kind of conservative?
Worst case scenario is you do a full lane switch and you send Ace to the bottom lane just to try to farm up against the Void. And your Tidehunter, who has 15 CS right now, comparative to the Void's 10, he's in a great spot. So maybe he gets Arcanes and then he goes top or starts stacking Ancients and lets the Medusa assume the safe lane, because right now it's not going well. No. You still have a Spirit Breaker though, who can try to force some kind of engagement. Now, it's a little bit troubling because both lanes have blink, so if he ganks mid, the Queen can blink, and if he ganks bottom, the Void can time walk away. So there's not really a ton of places for him to go, and it seems a little bit suspect right now, the choice to put your Medusa in this situation, like putting her top lane against a troll who's going to start getting free farm, because sooner or later, the supports are going to be too low level. And even the Spirit Breaker, like Blan, he's just charging mid. He's like, I got to try to do something else than stay here because it ain't working.
Yeah, maybe with a charge into a shackle shot. The shackle shot doesn't connect to the tree line. Bland gets through with the charge, but the living armor from Treant making it very hard to turn this into a successful gank. And whoa, Shashlo blinking straight past the Spirit Breaker, finds a kill onto Baby Knight, and great play there from the Queen of Pain.
Nice living armor on top of that. He just realized as soon as the charge comes out that Spirit Breaker is even level 2. Okay, he is level 2. He had a bash. Maybe if they got a bash, he would have not at least blinked in, but I don't think they would have killed him either way.
Needed to cancel that charge there, heading a little bit too far onto the enemy side. Just looking at the lanes so far, especially with that kill going to PR, they're not going great at all for the side of Flipside, apart from this bottom lane where Tide, I mean, I'll be honest, as a Tide, would you kind of expect the Faces Forward to be punished more, or do you think Tide's doing pretty well?
With living armor, it's hard to completely force a hero out, so Cheshire Cat has a bit of an advantage where most melee heroes would just totally struggle. And I do think that you should win the lane as Tide. Like, maybe not as this little margin right now as the Tide is ahead. Like, I don't particularly think that Crit's crushing him, but again, with the extra regen of living armor, you can't really make the Void go back to base by yourself.
You see a rotation from Baby Knight onto the top lane. He's found J4, will find the shackle shot into the power shot. J4 pops the living armor. Is he really going to be able to get out of this? Hasn't got any points in Nature's Guise. The right clicks aren't going to be enough though. Baby Knight doesn't find a kill with this rotation. Skyraf gets caught out by a magic missile. Bland does have the charge available. Pops the stick charges straight through the fight. Bashes Ditcherar on the way past. King R very low. Gets an Ancient Seal onto the Spirit Breaker. Ditcherar trying to turn it around to find a kill, but there are 4 heroes here. They will be able to find the troll. Skyraf Maze does fall down as well, but at the same time, bottom lane, Cheshire Cat, by the looks of it, popped the Chronosphere, able to find a kill onto the Tide.
Shacklo helped him out there too. I believe that was double ulti used. Yeah, and they used Scream as well. So Sonic Wave on cooldown for the time being. But I think it's worth it, keeping the Tide away from the Blink Dagger, having that mid-game presence on the map where you have to worry about Blink Ravage when you're trying to either just force some kind of engagement or maybe even just defend your own tier 1s can be pretty terrifying to engage into at this early stage. So I like the fact that they prioritize going for the Tide, even though they ended up losing a couple of heroes in the safe lane. If PR go late, I actually think their lineup is pretty sick. Like, you have potentially a Void 6-slotted who could get like a refresher, and then you have like Troll, who's obviously Troll. And then you have Queen, who deals damage even through BKB. So their lineup definitely scales.
I mean, for Flipside, as it goes late, I imagine they'll be resting a lot on the Medusa, but the Medusa, he's second on the net worth. It's certainly doing better than it looked to kind of start off as. In 6 minutes, and what kind of items are we seeing the Medusa pick up? She has got going for the phase boots by the looks of it. On top of the Aquila, 10 stick charges as well. And yeah, looking at the kind of the progression, let's put a point into the stats as well. 3 into the Mystic Snake and 1 into the Mana Shield. Still 3 to 6. Top of the board at the moment is this Queen of Pain, and Queen of Pain Shashler looking to rotate to the top lane. Hasn't got the ultimate for 40 seconds, has got a regeneration rune in the bottle. Flipside just getting pushed back behind their tower here, and I imagine Shashler kind of looks at the situation, realizes he's not going to be able to dive, so just heads back to mid lane to find the farm, because at the same time, Wind Ranger back in the base, now TPing back to the mid lane. Certainly losing out by quite a bit to this Queen of Pain, who has a 1,000 net worth lead against the Wind Ranger.
The difference between having a gank going your way and then having a gank completely negate all the action that you've done. Like, you go and you try to gank a tree and you don't even kill him, even after landing a shackle. So even though he's played, like the top fight he played well, but that was kind of like, what, a 4v2 or something like that, or 4v3? They ended up getting a handful of kills there. Just in general, Shacklo having a more solid play.
Shashler with the ultimate. Wind Ranger realizes Wind running as far back as she can, making sure not to get caught out. Flipside on the top lane. Quite aggressively. They've got smokes up on the Spirit Breaker as he goes straight onto Ditcherar. Whirling Axes come out, so there won't be any right clicks, no bashes. Magic Missile onto Ditcherar, but the living armor Rise. What are you doing there, sir? That's not your half of the base. The Venge will fall in this fight, and now Shashlo with the ultimate catches out the Spirit Breaker as well. And what, did you see that Venge there? Kind of just headed straight to the tower. Was he just trying to draw them away from the rest of the team?
He realized that there was no way they were going to win that engagement. Ace went for a Mystic Snake on creeps to try to get the biggest hit, to hit the Troll Warlord, to try to burst him down. But as soon as it didn't hit, Rise realized, okay, this isn't going to work. They're probably going to TP react because they have a Queen, which happened because Shacklo was there pretty fast. And then he goes, okay, I'll try to sacrifice my body for the greater good, you know? Just kill me, leave my friends alone. Unfortunately, for Flipside, Shacklo realized that, just blinks forward, goes for the bonus kill, realizing that the Venge is dead no matter what.
J4 could be in a bit of trouble here, and he is indeed. Spirit Breaker coming through with the punches, finds a very, very quick kill onto that Treant. Gives a little bit of gold and space to the Medusa. King R and Ditcher left alone at this tower. They do have 3 heroes here, Flipside. But every time we see them go aggressive, it just hasn't worked out at all for them.
Well, PR isn't tremendously ahead at this stage, but the biggest issue is, well, first off, that Void just bought a Midas. That's kind of an issue, because it's only 9 minutes in. And granted, it was a 1v1, so it's not really considered an off lane if it's just you're playing against one other hero. Even if the matchup isn't favored for you, because you're still always going to get more farm than if you were up against like 2 or 3 heroes, for example. So the late game scaling, I think, is what Flipside really need to be concerned with. The mid game Medusa, I'm a little bit skeptical at how much she's going to be able to offer if like a Chronosphere into a Mystic Flare end up happening, because that just like deletes a hero.
Yeah, I mean, so Crit now, obviously he has the Ravage available. Do you think we'll see him just hang around in the lane, look to farm up his key items, or is he useful in these rotations?
Oh, you mean the tree?
Sorry, the Tidehunter.
Oh, okay, the Tidehunter. I mean, if he gets Blink, that's his main priority. Like, he wants to go Blink, and then as soon as he gets Blink, then he can start trying to turn fights after Chronosphere is used, or you can try to set up a smoke gank. So if he has Ravage, and he goes top, and he maybe gets like a kill on the troll or something like that, you could easily put that into a tier 1 tower push, but you need to be clever with how you do it. Like, a lane smoke is a really good way, even though they actually have a ward down here, so you'd probably have to teleport to the tier 2 if it was going to be successful.
We're going to see a charge coming out from the Spirit Breaker on to J4 on the tree. It does get cancelled. Sure, they play a little bit more safer at this point again. He's a little bit deep here. Just throw out the Ravage just to stop Cheshire Cat and Shashlo, but it's only going to prolong the aggression that will come out. He throws out a gush onto Shashlo. He's fairly tanky, but I don't think he's tanky enough. Not with the ultimate coming through from Queen of Pain, and Cheshire Cat finding the final tickle to bring Tide to his grave. So another kill there on the Tidehunter. More money going the way of this Faceless Void, who's starting to shoot up the net worth. 4k in is not bad at all for this solo off-lane Void. Yeah, obviously, you talked about the fact that it was a solo lane versus solo lane, but it kind of begs, you know, the question: would Flipside have been in a better situation if they laned differently?
I'm kind of wondering the same. Sure, their Tidehunter is farmed, but he's still being abused. Every single time the ulti is off cooldown, like the spear is up and the Sonic Wave is top lane. Can you see engagement?
Bland, is he going to commit to this? Going straight for King R. He goes straight into the tower. Wave for Terror will catch Ditcher and King R. They do get a magic missile onto the troll, but the living armor is not enough to save him from that power shot. Nice pick off there. Maybe they'll look for more. Trying to chase his shackle shot. Doesn't latch on 2 of them. Looks like the Skyrath was just out of range. J4 popping the Nature's Guys. Do they have detection? Doesn't look like they do. No, they get the bash onto J4 with the charge, but that is it. Nothing else to go through. They commit 5 heroes to this. They should be able to find the tier 1 here. PR, they do back off away from this. So this will be a tower, and they did kill the troll.
Not a bad exchange, all in all, for Flipside. The crit dying twice is like, all these Tidehunters feel pretty invincible against melee heroes, because yeah, it's okay, well, I anchor smash you, you deal no right click damage, but also have to remember, Void's bash is magical. So if Void's bash is magical, and there's a queen who can TP into the tier 1, you just can't play as risky, I think, as he's been doing. And even though he got both of those heroes relatively low, no one on the side of Flipside, wow, that was weird, no one on the side of Flipside can really counter gank except for maybe the Spirit Breaker. Like, there's no blink on the Wind Ranger. Just go on the straight Aghanims build. Shout out to Slasher's Way. Or you just type it in all caps, I guess, if you're inside of a game. But there's really no one to help him.
Well, there's no one to help Ace as well on this bottom lane. Mystic Flare into the Chronosphere. Very, very dead Medusa straight away. I mean, they could, yeah, the kind of team fight potential from PI is kind of disgusting. All you need is the Faceless Void and the Scarf to be in the neighborhood. Just throw in the troll ult and you're killing anyone on the map at this point.
The tri-lane for Flipside is the story of the game, because they decided to go aggressive, right?
Yes.
And then they start off getting a first blood on their Medusa, which is one of the better heroes to get it. And they end up losing their mid player. So the mid lane is already kind of tough, because the Wind Ranger starts off behind compared to a Queen, who is already one of the better laners. So we're going to see a tower deny here in the bottom lane. But even though the tier 1 is dead on the side of Power Rangers, I think they've gotten a significant chunk more out of their laning phase. And the Medusa has kind of suffered a little bit because of that. He's about tied right now in net worth with a troll, so it's not too bad. I just feel that Medusa could be farming a ton faster if it was in the safe lane. And if you just have a TP and play around having Stone Gaze, you can stop all the pushes just by TPing to it and just being like, yep, Stone Gaze. Now, no longer, you can not push our tower.
I mean, against a Troll Warlord and a Void with a Midas, do you see this Medusa catching up in terms of farm anytime soon?
Nope.
No.
You don't want to buy a Midas on Medusa either. It's a really, really bad item because it gives you no survivability, gives you no teamfight potential. The attack speed scaling isn't even that good since he doesn't have any points in a split shot, so it's not even going to help his farm that much. It's just solely a thing to boost your experience gain, which is still okay, but you don't want to buy it in the situation that you're in now.
And then there's going to be a charge onto the Quap, looks for the blink, can't quite get the cast off. They blow the Ravage as well. The Living Armor keeping the Queen of Pain alive for a little bit of time, but they commit 5 heroes and they do find their kill. And TP into mid by the Void, hasn't got Chronosphere available for well, only a couple of seconds. It's going to be back online now. Maybe they can look to do something. They do have the Skywrath. They could certainly burst someone down with the old Chrono into Mystic Flare combination. Battle Trance is available as well. But maybe with just these 2 heroes, they don't really want to jump in onto the 5. Let's Flipside force the issue and continue to go aggressive. They probably need a backup of at least 1 more. At the moment, Troll and Tree are in the top lane. Don't seem to be showing any intentions of coming to the mid lane for this defense, as it will just be the Skywrath and Cheshire Cat. Level 11 on this Void, top of the net worth now. And that was, yeah, I mean, that was not your safe lane Void. Cheshire Cat is just having a great game.
His farm is really scary if you're on the side of, wow, I don't want to say that again. If you're Flipside.
If you're Flipside.
Yeah, if you are Flipside. You're looking at this and you say, okay, I'm a little bit concerned because our Medusa is still going to take quite a while to get off the ground. Where's our damage output really coming from? We're relying on the Mystic Snake, we're relying on the Tidehunter Ravage, and potentially the Spirit Breaker and the Venge Nuke. So all of that stuff is magical damage at this stage. The Wind Ranger will eventually come into her own and have Aghanims, maybe her crit, and then start to have some pretty good right click. But you still have to be concerned of just getting like overgrowthed or get caught by a Queen ulti or something like that, or even get sphered in a bad way, and then all of a sudden, well, we're just dead at that point. And as we saw around the TI3 era, or excuse me, TI4, is Void and Skywrath are one of the few combos that can kill a Tide without the Tide being able to do anything about it. Yeah. Because you can't crack in Chronosphere, so you kind of just sit there and explode. It's going to be down to who gets the better engagement, and I feel like PR are playing well right now.
Certainly seems to be 10-6 at the moment, 16 minutes in. They do have the Void at the top of the net worth, and Medusa are doing very well in terms of keeping on level, 6.2k. So it'll be interesting to see how much she's able to achieve, especially when their team, it just feels like they're very behind when they're up against this Troll and Void, that still at this point will be able to kill any of these heroes if they get the jump on them. Top lane, Trient trying to find some levels, trying to find some farm on his way to the Aghanim Scepter. It's a long way, but of course, by the time we hit that 30-40 minute mark, he should be able to pick it up. Charge onto J4, they do get a shackle shot, but it looks like they don't have any detection between these two, so they won't be able to chase down J4 anymore. What is the plan here for Flipside? Do they just have to play defensively, or do you think we should see some aggression coming out from the Spirit Breaker, Wind Ranger, Venge? You know, I mean, arguably very active heroes.
I don't think they can actually fight. That's the problem, is you're fighting in a Sphere, Overgrowth, Queen ulti, and a Troll, and you didn't really have an amazing laning phase. Like, it's okay. There's no huge lead for PR. It's just their hero composition, I feel, is a lot more flexible in what they can do. So we can see, like, right now that Troll is just doing a huge Ancient stack over here, and I don't believe there's any vision on this on Flipside. No, there isn't. And with that, you have a Medusa who, sure, she's got an ultimate orb, you know, she's got phase boost, she's going for a direct Scotty, so we're going to see a charge here in middle lane.
Yep, they get the Never Strike as well. Living Armor is there. King Out gets shackled to a creep, but the Chronosphere catches plan, doesn't catch Baby Knight there with the ult from Quap and the Ancient Seal. They do find the kill onto Baby Knight as well. They've lost the Skywrath, but they did have to blow Ravage for it, and now Crit might be in trouble as well, chasing him down. Chapslow linking forward. There's the Troll, there's the Void, there's everybody here. It's a double kill for the Quap. 3 heroes down on the side of Flipside, and PR, they only lose the Skywrath.
Really nice execution from PR, just reacting to every single gank perfectly. Cheshire Cat came so close to getting that Chronosphere on top of Baby Knight as well, and if that happens, there's no kill even on the Skywrath, and then you just gave away a 3-for-1 whilst having used Ravage, which is your best teamfight utility outside of Stonegaze. And I would even say Ravage is still a little bit better because most teams won't just get stunned by it, they'll walk away a little bit and then they'll just turn around and re-engage. So that means free Roshan here for Power Rangers, and they are in a fantastic position. It's kind of funny because in Dota, a lot of the time people look at the golden experience graph and they use that as a very big indicator of if a team is really ahead. But it's not always necessarily about what you have, as we're going to see. A nice overgrowth here.
Very nice overgrowth indeed, catching out Ace and Rise. In comes Tron, Mystic Flare onto the Medusa. Medusa getting very, very low. The Ancient Seal means that she can't get off the Stone Gaze, and by the time it's off, she's already lost all the mana through the mana shield, so she can't even get it off at the end of the day. 2 heroes down yet again, double kill to the Void. And I mean, that is something that's annoying with the Ancient Seal. In some of those situations, you take the mana shield off so you can get off the Stone Gaze. But if you're silenced and it's already toggled on, by the time the Ancient Seal's gone, you're not going to have the mana to use it.
Really nice draft and play overall by PR. It seems a little bit ASUS polar-y to me, if that makes sense. Like the way that they pick and the style that they play. They're not really to the point where the tree is that like farm-sucking machine right now because he doesn't have his Aghanims, but at some point I'm sure it's going to happen. Like he does have a point booster and 900 gold to his name, so he's on the road too. But again, it's not about how much net worth each member of each team has. It's only about which cores have it and how they use the farm. Yeah. So Troll and Void are obviously amazing late game heroes. And it's not that Medusa is bad late game, it's just that you're fighting into too many cores of PR and you're still losing the early and mid game. Very hard. So it's just, what do you do when your whole form of initiation is either a Spirit Breaker charge, which PR can easily counter, or a Ravage, which you've basically had to expend to kill one hero for the past like 10 minutes ever since he originally got the abilities. So I don't see an easy way for Flipside to bring themselves back into the game other than PR making a mistake.
It certainly seems that way at the moment. I mean, Windranger, Baby Knight has finished off the Aghanims. Windranger, one of those heroes that we don't see all the time in the mid lane. In this kind of, against this kind of lineup that PR have, can the Windranger really achieve that much?
Windranger can be a very dominant single target damage carry. As middle lane, we're going to see an invisible Void here. Oh man, this is going to be so bad.
Oh, Chrono onto 2. In comes the Quap with the ulti onto Ace. Ace again hasn't got the mana to get off the Stone Gaze. A nice Shackle shot will hold Cheshire Cat in place. Baby Knight gets silenced off, but they already firing the kill onto the Void. Now with the Nether Strike, they nearly catch out Quap. Quap gets the blink out. Ditcheral will be able to find Spirit Breaker return Overgrowth, holding Baby Knight in place. He pops the Wind Run, but it's not going to last long enough as they chase him down. Shackle shot doesn't connect, only holds down Ditcheral for a millisecond. 2 heroes down on Flipside, but they do find the Void, and you were talking about the single target damage from Windranger, and it was very evident in that situation.
He has his Aghanims completed, and with level 2 ulti is only, what, 15% damage reduction? Yeah, it's 30, 15, 0 with Aghanims. So once he gets level 16, he's going to be doing a heck of a lot more. I really thought that was going to go way worse. Even getting a kill on the Void is a blessing, considering that situation. That was an Invis Void into a dual sphere. I thought more people would TP, but the Skywrath wasn't there. It was just the Queen and the Void, and they opted to go for the extremely tanky hero first. Which, I kind of get it, you know, if the Medusa gets Stone Gaze off, you're not going to be able to kill either, but another charge here, mid.
Yeah, charge onto J4, they do have the Tidans, and he does have Ravage available, might need to think about popping it if they want to find this kill out. The Living Armor will protect J4, and he does just walk back out the fight, crit, not wanting to blow the Ravage just for the tree kill. There was a TP in as well from the Skywrath, and also at the same time, Quap there on the front lines, ready to turn the fight if Flipside decide to push it anymore. They do have the Stone Gaze, they do have the Ravage, but at the moment, Medusa just on the bottom lane, not looking to get involved in these fights, but mainly focusing on working on those core items, has got the Skadi complete.
With the Skadi though, what really changes? What about having the Skadi means that all of a sudden now we're going to be able to do this as top lane?
Oh, top lane charge onto Ditcheral. Crit Silence Top has got the Ravage available. Mystic Flare coming down onto the Rise, and with the Ancient Seal will blow up the Vengeful Spirit. Crit walks in, pops the Ravage, but isn't able to find a kill. Stone Gaze from Ace will hold Ditcheral in place. They should be able to find the Troll, but he does have the Aegis. Other side of PR ready for round 2. At the same time, Cheshire Cat with Chronosphere onto Baby Knight. But look at this, Cheshire Cat, he can't find the kill. Baby Knight with the Windrun, with the Shackle shot. They will actually be able to maybe find the Void. Void's still alive, but on the top lane, Ace goes down, 2 heroes down. Void manages to time walk up to the high ground. Baby Knight looking for him desperately in the trees. Now Baby Knight may be in trouble. Shashlo blinking in. He's focused on chasing down this Spirit Breaker. Baby Knight will just TP out of the fight. Blan will charge away. 19-8, and again, another good fight for PR.
Could have been a lot worse. Had they not had Aegis, I think that would have been okay, because it would have killed Deira, and then, you know, he wouldn't have come back, and they wouldn't have been able to re-engage and chase like that. But I think they still gave up the tower, right? Yeah, they did. So they didn't deny the tower either, and the offlane tower drops. So all in all, I would say PR continue to exude their dominance over the game. That's also Aghanims, by the way, and the Bash Lord is bottom lane as well.
J4 turns around with Leech Seed, says, get out with McGrill. Yeah, Aghanims overall for the Quap, wasn't it, that was just picked up, and for J4, were you saying? He's very close at least, isn't he? He's just
750 away, yeah.
Very close indeed. So this is a pretty ridiculous timing. It's going to be, what, a 25-minute axe on the tree?
25, 26. If they give him a lane. If he gets forced out of the lane by another core, then he'll probably have it a little bit later. But it seems like he's just continuing to punch creeps right now, so I feel he'll be pretty happy with his level of farm at this stage. The other problem is, when you're playing supports and a team that's losing, it's actually kind of annoying to have to buy like a gem really early if you're this Venge. Like Ryze, he's level 9, he's 0-6, and he only has 7 creep kills. He's just a stacking bot right now. He doesn't really do much else, so having to invest in a gem against a Treant who is ridiculously farmed just to get your jungle back is not the ideal situation to be in.
Ryze. Finds Cheshire Cat, throws out a magic missile. Troll now with the Skadi complete on top of the helm and the Yasha. This is a very, very scary Troll, and just still looking at the net worth board, I think it's been like this for the last about, what, 10 minutes. The 3 cores of PR very much ahead of the 3 cores of Flipside.
And that's the inherent problem with the lineup of Flipside is you built for a late game, but you can't control the game unless your tri-lane wins. It was so important for that tri-lane to not fail, and as soon as the Venge died the first time, the tri-lane was almost over at that point. Like, that Venge dies, all of a sudden you can't go for kills on anyone anymore without the help of your mid. And guess what? Wind Ranger is not that great at ganking mid. Queen is 10 times better. Queen can just teleport to a tower, she has a 1300 range blink, and she can turn the fight surely by burst damage, and she can just take you out, no problem. Whereas the way that this Wind Ranger plays is you sit mid a little bit more, you try to farm, push out the wave when the enemy mid rotates, and you just kill the mid tower. But he couldn't stay mid because he wasn't even winning his lane. So everything considered, like Flipside are holding on pretty well given the circumstances. I just think that eventually Power Rangers are going to have too much farm on their course just to be able to do anything.
I mean, the one thing you've got to remember about Flipside, I guess with the Stone Gaze, with the focus fire from Wind Ranger, I mean, you're killing one of the cores. If you catch them in the Stone Gaze, the amount of physical damage that's going to come out, especially with Baby Knight working towards the crit as well on top of the Aghanims, you'll be able to kill one of them, but the problem is there's 3 of them. And I mean, can you see any situation in the team fight where they're going to be killing all 3 cores?
Not really. I mean, how do you kill the Troll who already has a full Skadi completed and a Yasha, and then on top of that you have Void? I mean, he doesn't have a ton of defensive items, but he's already got 2600 gold again. He can just buy a BKB in the next, what, 4 or 5 minutes maybe? And then you also have the Queen, who has Aghanims, very tanky, also almost 1800 gold. He could also go BKB. And then you just blink in with BKBs on. Even if you get Stone Gaze, the damage output is still not really that high on Flipside. Your Medusa still has Yasha and Skadi, which is, you know, respectable level of farm. Ace has been doing a really good job of maintaining his CS. And the Wind Ranger might eventually get to a stage where even picking up a Crystallis is a huge damage boost for your ultimate. And that can be enough to find a decent shackle in a team fight and maybe get a kill that way. So that's going to have to be the dream right now.
Yeah, I mean, we see Tree already now with a completed Ag starting to get up the vision in the Radiant jungle, allowing it to be very safe for the Queen of Pain and the Troll to clear up these camps. 4 heroes being positioned aggressively into the jungle. We've got Void on the top lane still focusing on farming. Shadowblade is now picked up by the Spirit Breaker, but Baby Knight getting caught out by the Overgrowth and bursted down straight away. That is one of the cores that you're really relying on the side of Flipside being taken out of the fight immediately.
Even with Aghanims, you just get blown up. Like, usually that build is notorious for not being able to get ganked that easily, because you just wind run and you walk it off or you TP or something like that, and they're just showcasing how much damage they really can do. And all of that was really thanks to the fact that J4 does have the Aghanims. The damage that it deals on top of the disabled duration is amazing.
And with Roshan up, Ditchara heads straight into the pit with the backup of Shashling with the double damage. Cheshire Cat comes to join in as well, and with the bashes, look at that. He just can't even move. Roshan can't even get a swing in, and I don't think he even touches them. I mean, that's the power of Battle Trance and the double bashes.
Bash Bros.
Absolutely ridiculous. A 20-8, 27.5 minutes in. Power Rangers, I guess they're feeling very comfortable with this game, and it's going to take some serious messing up for Flipside to turn this around.
This game I don't feel was even an outdraft. I think that there was a time where Flipside could have actually done well, but I don't think that aggressively tri-laning was the idea. if you just get the Medusa some item, like you go phase Mask of Madness or something and you get your Aquila and you just farm the woods off map and you let your Spirit Breaker do most of the space creation, I feel like he could have gotten ahead of the other cores in terms of overall farm, and then you come to a team fight with real damage output when you have that Mask of Madness, and then you get some kills on top of that, and maybe your Wind Ranger lands a Shackle or two. But going into that tri lane and failing it, even if the Medusa farms, your supports are just so far behind because of that. I mean, look at the net worth of this Venge, 2,200 at 28 minutes into the game. I'm pretty sure you actually get almost that amount just from gold ticks.
It's not a lot of money, is it? I mean, here comes the push down the bottom lane from Power Rangers. Ace on the high ground, they look for a Shackle shot onto Ditcher. Isn't going to connect. The damage continuing to fly through onto the tier 3. Just trying to keep them back. They do have the full 5-man now here on Power Rangers. If they can find a Chronosphere, people are going to die very, very quickly onto Flipside. And no wards outside of the base for Flipside, so they can't see what's going on too much. They don't know that Cheshire Cat is hiding there on the sidelines. Need to be very, very careful when they come out and crit. He's on the top lane, has got the TP scroll available. He very well might need to join the fight. Baby Knight coming a little bit far out. Looks for a Shackle shot into Ditcher again. Isn't going to achieve too much with it. There is the Manta Star now complete on the Medusa, so it's going to be able to help her in regards to the Ancient Seal and the Overgrowth, but won't be able to help her against the Chronosphere. Ditcher, I mean, they're just going to continue doing this, heading up to the high ground, going for the tier 3. I mean, can Flipside stop this? Oh, Baby Knight coming forward again with the... Oh, there we go. Cheshire Cat, he waits for it, finds the Chrono onto 3. That's your Wind Ranger down. Venge as well. Nice Ravage catching a few of them with the Stone Gaze. Might be able to hold some in place. Holds J4 and Cheshire Cat in place, going with the right clicks. Cheshire Cat getting fairly low, getting a lot of backtracks. Time walks down to the back of the fight. Now the Overgrowth and Ditcher. Bland getting very, very low. Will go down. Ace trying to dish as much damage out as he can, but they've already lost 4 heroes. Buyback from the Spirit Breaker, charge straight away onto Shashlo, but Bland, I don't think he wants to commit to this. He will find Ditcher, but Ditcher's got the Aegis. Zipping from Cheshire Cat straight onto Ace with the bashes. J4's there as well with the lead sheet. Ace, I don't think he's going to be able to walk out of this one. They've got the silence on him as well. Orchid Malevolence will help them find the kill. Bland with the Shadow Blade does walk back, but actually turns around to get a right click onto J4. You don't want to be fighting into that, especially when the slow from Ditcher is there as well. Right clicks as well with the Skadi slow. Bland is down as well. That was a dieback from the Spirit Breaker. 26-9. 4 heroes down on Flipside. They're going to lose the bottom racks. They do still have the tier 2s in the other lanes, so I don't think we'll see GG just yet, but it's not looking great for the Radiant.
If they saw the minimap the way that we see it, I think they would call GG. I mean, look at that. Like, every single camp in the jungle almost, except for the small pole camp in the safe lane, is pretty much just warded up by leaves. So every time that Treant decides that he wants to just take away like half the jungle gold away from Flipside, he just does it. At the flick of an R button, I guess, or... What was the hotkey if you were legacy keys? I don't even remember. Was it like V or something? Oh, maybe it was T, yeah.
I think it was T. I might be wrong.
Yeah, we were both probably wrong. I'm not a legacy key user.
We're QWERTY key scrubs.
Yeah. Hex now also on Shacklo, so he's completely out of control farmed, as are the rest of the other cores on the side of PR. And that fight was a really good example of, even if you have good team fight,
talking about good team fight? Chronosphere into Mystic Flare, that is a dead Vengeful Spirit. There will be a charge on Cheshire Cat, pops the BKB, so the Shackle shot will not do anything. Bland cancelling the charge straight away. Ditcher starting to pressurize this middle tier 3. I mean, what is the plan for Flipside? High ground defense, they've got a Medusa, they have got a Ravage, there is potential there, but we see just like that, PR with the Chronosphere. As soon as anyone is caught out of position on Flipside, PR, they're straight in there and straight up to the high ground.
The way that Flipside have to play it is just defensively. So the Tide, Crit goes in, he gets a Ravage, he blinks over the Chronosphere, tries to hit the rest of the heroes on PR to stop the follow-up damage from coming through. But by that time, there's already one hero down. So you're fighting behind from the get-go. I think that the weakness of Flipside's draft is they don't ever have the opportunity to play aggressive. They're not ever going in with this Tide Hunter to make anything happen. They're not going in with a Spirit Breaker to try to start a fight. They're doing it as a reactionary style. And I feel like in Dota, unless you're team is significantly better in the late game and you're playing reactionary, then you're just going to be behind forever. Like, how do you force an engagement right now? They're smoked here on the side of the Radiant. I'm not going to say it again. I caught myself. Here we go.
Here we go. There we go. They're forcing the aggression, and it does pay off. They find a very nice kill down to the Queen of Pain. Down for 70 seconds, doesn't have buyback. They should be able to get a tier 1 off the back of this. Fortification is popped. They need to be careful, though. Cheshire Cat in the trees has still got a double damage active. Chronosphere is up in 8 seconds. Troll as well on the other side, looking for the slow, just a little bit short onto Ace. Now your Chronosphere is available. You've still got this double damage on the Void. He is ready to go, and he can find a very nice Chronosphere. In he goes. Chronosphere only catches Baby Knight. Baby Knight gets swapped out, and now Cheshire Cat caught in a little bit of a bad position. Ace with a very nice Stone Gaze. King R and J4 both getting frozen. King R pops the Shadow Amulet. Should be alright, but already Void has gone down. Blink forward from Crit and the charge as well. Onto King R. The Overgrowth will stop them, but doesn't matter. Skyrath will fall. Now they're looking for J4 as well. Dust of Appearance has revealed him. He will go down, and well, Shackle Shot catching Ditcherah as well. This is perfect for Flipside. Magic Missile. Ditcherah in a lot of trouble. Has got the Satanic, but even as a Troll Warlord, you don't stand up against this one. Maybe you do. He's trying his best. He's trying his best. He's trying his best. He's trying his best. It's not enough. Triple kill for the Medusa. Suddenly, a full team wipe on the side of PR, and all off the back of a dodgy Chronosphere.
That Chrono was almost the dream, and then very quickly turned into the nightmare. As, oh god, I can't actually go towards the Medusa because she's stone gazed and can't walk back towards my team. My Queen's dead with no buyback. That Shackle, what is Dota 2 when that Shackle is a thing?
That was...
Instead of shackling to the tree, for people who don't know how Shackle works, it always prioritizes heroes over trees.
Okay.
So that Shackle in the real world, and how Shackles work, that would have just shackled to the tree and not the Troll, and maybe they wouldn't be getting Raxed right now, but that was a ridiculous turn of events, and suddenly Ace, highest net worth, 5,500 gold in his inventory, and Tide gets a refresher. That was...
Tide forces him, blinks in as well, catches out Shashlo and King R, but looks like the rest of the team weren't
His
ready.
team's like, no, don't do that.
Crit, yeah, he's still got a refresher, so he could pop off another Ravage if the rest of his team were there, but the rest of his team, I like Crit. But, I mean, yeah, I don't know what the Tide Hunter was trying to achieve there with that aggression, but it didn't pay off.
Cheshire Cat right now is kicking himself, or being berated by his team, because that was some questionable initiation. But still, PR, even getting racks there, granted it should have never happened, but I still feel like they have an advantage. The refresher is going to be an issue though, because now the BKBs are getting shorter. So if the Tide finds a nice double Ravage, and the Medusa gets an ulti off while the sphere is down and isn't actually stuck inside of it, it could be enough to turn a fight in a really big way. So we'll see if PR are able to get the second set of racks. There's no buyback on the Tide for 30, and his Ravage is down, so when he gets up, he'll have to use his refresher if he wants to defend the base. So at the end of the day, his refresher purchase is not really going to do anything for him, because it's just going to be as you were fighting a normal Tide with his ulti up.
Ace now, his damage output is pretty impressive. Butterfly complete on top of the Manta and Skadi. He can certainly deal with these waves pushing in. The high ground defense is going to be very, very nice indeed. Still, though, if he gets caught out in a Chronosphere and the right clicks from the Void and the Troll are there and available, he is going to go down fairly quickly. 2.6k gold now on the Troll Warlord. Went for the Satanic straight after the Skadi. What do you think he goes for now as the next item of choice? Well, it's the Blink Dagger. Okay, and do you think that's the best decision against this team? Well,
against the Medusa having a Butterfly, I feel like at least either the Troll or the Void are going to want MKB. If you want to kill the Medusa, that is. If you want to just sphere her and ignore her, kill the rest of the team, that's also okay. Because you can leave the hero alone, and Solo Medusa isn't going to kill anything. So we see, God, Roshan is just getting annihilated.
He's not having a good day today.
Alright. So Cheese going the way of Shacklo, however you say it. And the Troll getting another Aegis. And this is kind of a good thing and a bad thing for the side of... Damn it, why do I keep saying that? He's got Ravage up in 15, right?
Okay.
So they have double Ravage, which means that Roshan buys time for Crit to have double ulti. And double ulti can be huge. If you can kill all the other heroes on the side of PR, and like you kill the tree, you kill the Skyrath, those heroes out of the fight without being able to do much, then you have one hero with an Aegis who you can potentially kite using your Medusa, and then you also have Stone Gaze on top of that, right? And a Spirit Breaker. And we saw how well Flipside functioned when the other heroes are isolated. Yeah. So when Ditcherah got shackled, he was alone. He just couldn't do anything, like even with a Satanic, because he was just bashed, stunned, blah, blah, blah. So if they can find that fight, I think even with Aegis, it is winnable.
Yeah, I mean,
or against Aegis, I should say.
Indeed. I mean, I guess that's the thing about the double ravage as well. It's more than enough time to guarantee a stone gaze. If you're able to catch the heroes facing the right position and the setup potential is there, then yeah, it's going to be a very, very hard team fight for PR to come out on top. They nearly do have the Refresher's Orb on the Treant, so that almost certainly will be available for the next team fight at least. He's just a little bit short of the money for the recipe at the moment. See 4 heroes now pushing onto the top lane. They're going for the final tier 2 on the side of Flipside. Still, I mean, 38 minutes in. If we look at the overall net worth graph, we did see a little bit of a swing back in the favor of Flipside. Now, again, just going for the alternate push. They're going for the tier 2 on the bottom. We see Flipside going for the PR going for the tier 2 on the top. They do find it very quickly with the Troll Warlord. Maybe as well in a position to TP back and defend this tier 2 as Flipside do start to push in. Cheshire Cat is heading over, hasn't got a TP scroll himself. Continues with the use of the Midas and double damage indeed bottled up. Chronosphere available, everything is online for both sides. But the double damage void is something that you need to be very, very scared of. And scared of. And Flipside, they back up and they TP out. They don't want to take this fight.
The hilarious part of this game is they showed the graph a little bit earlier, and you can just see the spike in gold and experience when that team wipe / racks happened. It was almost 20,000. It doesn't look like that much, but if you see, it was more than 25,000 in favor of PR, and then that one engagement, that's 6.83 in action right there. I'm just saying. Now, again, it should have never happened. The way that fight went down, it was a complete catastrophe for the side of PR. But sometimes you only get to make like 1 or 2 mistakes in this game. Fortunately for PR, I think they got 1 or 2 left to make if they're going to give Flipside any chance of a full recovery.
Certainly it seems that way. I mean, any game with a Medusa, we could be in for the long haul here. Medusa should be able to hold the high ground very effectively unless PR can get that jump in and take her down fairly early on in the fights. But still 28-14 in a game that earlier on it certainly looked like PR had more of a grasp on it. Flipside really coming back into this one and have every chance to take the game if they do get at least one more successive team fight, because the push will certainly be there in terms of the damage that they've got from the Medusa. The Wind Ranger, of course, we can't write off either. After the Chrysalis, we see that went for the BKB and now has up to 1,700.5 gold on himself as well. I mean, what do you feel will be the next item pick up from the Wind Ranger? Does he need to finish off the Daedalus, or is there something else that you go for?
Finishing crit is really solid.
Yeah.
Your damage output goes through the roof. Because you hit so fast and you deal a substantial amount of DPS with just having the Daedalus in your inventory, it's well worth getting the crit just for the sheer attack speed that you already do have. Because if you think of it this way, it's the same reason why a lot of people used to buy phase on PA. If you have things that automatically give you a lot of attack speed, damage becomes the better stat because it increases your DPS by a higher margin. So it's the same reasoning here. You could go for like MKB or something if you really wanted to, but I don't think that Baby Knight should ever be in a position where he gets blinded by the troll, because the Medusa is going to be the frontline hero who just pops Stone Gaze, and the Stone Gaze with the Focus Fire from Wind Ranger does a ton of damage. Like level 3 Stone Gaze increases the physical DPS you take by 50%. So you're dealing 50% more damage with a Daedalus completed and a Focus Fire on somebody. That's still very scary.
And certainly, as we see, Void Cheshire Cat did find his MKB, so suddenly the butterfly on the Medusa not going to be as effective as it was, especially if she gets caught out in the Chronosphere. Troll Warlord, he's got 4,000 gold in the bank as well. He's totally full up of slots with the Aegis in his hands, but once that goes, maybe we'll see him opt for the the MKB as well at this point. And well, there's your Aegis going down. Now, 28-14. It's been a little bit passive over the last couple of minutes as both teams playing it very safely and defensively. I kind of feel at this point now, Flipside, they don't really need to force the fights, do they? Are they still happy with the pace that it's going? I mean, is it bad for them to just sit back?
I don't think you ever want to fight against 3 6-slotted cores, ever. I mean, there's just too much risk, you know? You have one bad engagement and the game ends. But they're kind of forced into this position because of how the game has gone up until this point. They had one really nice moment where they killed 5 heroes on the side of PR. They push down mid, they get a Rax. That was the dream. Like, that was the biggest fight they could have ever asked for that never should have happened. And now they're in this really awkward spot where their Medusa is massive. Like, Ace is so farmed right now. He's got Butterfly, what we mentioned earlier, on top of another 4,500 gold. So if he gets a pure damage item, like perhaps a MKB.
Is this a Rapier game?
He could go Rapier. Like, Rapier is actually legit here. as he sells. Okay, he buys Demon Edge, so we don't know. We don't know for sure. It could still be Daedalus. It could still be MKB. Usually, if you're gonna go Rapier, you probably buy the Demon Edge anyway. MKB. Yeah, okay, he bought the MKB. A little bit of a letdown, but I understand why he didn't buy a Rapier. Because if you buy a Rapier and you die once, you cannot win anymore.
I mean, at this point though, all this gold spent, if he dies once now, is it not essentially game over, or do you feel
it is still game over?
Yeah.
But that's the catch-22, right? You're saying to yourself, do I buy the Rapier, and do I just go all in one fight and hope that I don't die? But if maybe they only get one set of racks from a team fight and I die, then you might still be in the game.
Yeah, yeah.
But not having buyout is pretty scary. So he needs to do a ton of damage before he goes down, if PR managed to take it down.
Yeah, well, Cheshire Cat, 2.3k gold on top of the MKB. Looking very, very scary indeed. I mean, PR, they don't seem to want to force the issue here. They're happy just farming on the 3 cores, and do you think that's what it is? The fact that essentially their 3 cores are going to always be more scary than the cores of Flipside.
Definitely.
Yeah.
The Wind Ranger could get her Daedalus finished, as we have spoken about previously, but she finishes that. Again, she also does not have buyback if she gets that item. Now, PR can't know this 100%, but sometimes when you see a hero complete an item later on into the game, and then you know that they don't have much map control, because let's be honest, look at Flipside, they're all sitting inside of their base at the tier 3 mid. If somebody's playing like this, then you know that their farm rate is not going to be that fast. For example, PR have the entire map to farm. They have the enemy woods, they have their own woods, they have all 3 lanes. So yeah, playing passive is fine, because you're just getting more out of playing passive than the enemy team.
Indeed. I mean, this is, for the last, what, 5 minutes, we haven't seen a lot happen. Both teams just playing very passively. Maybe this is it. Flipside, they come out, they smoke up. It wasn't in range of any of the trees, so they are good indeed to go. Going to head straight towards what I imagine to be the mid lane. Roshan isn't quite up yet. Still a couple of more minutes before that.
Value.
Indeed, the bottle on the floor. Pings coming out. They don't know where the side of PR are. They don't have any vision. Now they see the troll. Straight onto Ditcherov with the first Ravage and the Shackle Shot in the charge. Talk about the damage coming out from Baby Knight and that Wind Ranger. And that is a troll dying incredibly quickly for 45 minutes in, and as stacked as the troll is.
They dropped everything on him, though. They did not want him getting through that at all. The other thing to mention is that's the kind of damage that Focus Fire can do with just Aghanims and Daedalus. It's still a pretty hefty investment in terms of money, but if you can get it, do not underestimate how much damage this hero does, because it will hurt really, really bad. And you have Vengeance Aura, and then you also have the Howl, which gives minus armor. So the damage that Baby Knight is going to start doing in these fights, if he's left alone, cannot be underestimated.
I mean, it's certainly something that PR have to be very scared of, especially in the situations where they kind of get caught out individually at this point. It's definitely going to be the potential for that to happen, because they are looking to just split up and farm for the most of this time now. PR not really grouping up that much. Now we see 3 of them on the top lane. They're going for plan. Oh, the Chronosphere just catches the Spirit Breaker. Mystic Flare is thrown in for good measure. That's going to be a kill. There was a TP in from the Wind Ranger, but straight away PR back up, play it safe. Mid lane, big push coming in, and they're going in on J4. J4 gets blown up here in the mid lane, and suddenly Flipside, they're in a position where they have to finish off the mid racks. 2 heroes down on PR. Still the tier 2 up in the bottom lane. And top lane, we see the Queen of Pain actually pushing the lane very, very far forward. But still, the flip side, they are finding these openings, and they are doing damage.
I'm really surprised that they're even allowed to be in this position. It's just like PR are kicking themselves for that fight mid where the sphere was a miss on the Medusa, because he went for the greediest one. He tried to hit both heroes, and then he ended up missing the more important one because he put his sphere too far back. And then the Medusa ulti cuts him off, and then he dies, and then everyone dies, and then they lose their racks. So had that not happened, this game would have been over already, like probably 10 minutes ago, maybe even longer. But they are still in it for the time being. They're going to see, well, we're going to see the Roshan timer here in a second, see if it's a short or a long one. And it's up. All right, so there you go.
Oh, Queen of Pain. What was the Ravage? It was Jiva. Blink up to the high ground.
And he frees him from the trees, too.
That was a little bit of a mess there from Flipside.
A little bit. Let's just say that he didn't use... well, he refreshed his ulti immediately, I guess, because his refresher is only a minute on cooldown. So that means that they have no Ravage for the next 50 seconds. And if PR know that he uses refresher, then they could go for Roche. But it's still kind of risky.
We see him blinking straight to the pit. Troll, he's ready to go to work. Queen of Pain on this side as well, ready to blink in for the fight. Ditchera, he heads straight out the power shot with 3 spooky 5 him. Stick Snake flying across the river from Ace. 16 to 29. Both teams a little bit antsy on who's going to jump in first. And now we see PR. They're going to come straight in with the smoke, blinking in very aggressively with the Siphon to Baby Knight, trying to burst him down. He's able to force himself away. BKB is popped. In comes the Troll and the Void. Chronosphere catching out Baby Knight. Crit will go down first of all to the Troll Warlord. The Chronosphere and the Mystic Flare. Baby Knight is held in place. What's the win run? It's not enough to keep himself alive. He will go down. Ditchera looking to chase more. Ace trying to TP out. Where's the bash? Where's the bash? There is no bash. Ditchera will not be able to find it today, but they will find the kill onto the Avenger as well. And 3 heroes down. PR still proving that they are in a very strong position.
Poor Baby Knight, man. He had no control of his character that entire team fight. He got, first off, he got initiated on, so he got hexed. And then he got bursted to like half health. Then he got overgrowth. Then he got sphered. Then he got overgrowth again. He did not control his hero that entire time. Nice bash, though.
Yeah, nice bashes onto the quad, holding him in place. Blink forward from Crit. Gush onto Ditchera with a slow from the Skadi. Ace can just chase this one down. Ditchera trying to turn around with the right clicks. It won't be enough. That will be a kill there for the Medusa onto the Troll Warlord. And maybe they can try and chase down more. We see a TP away from the Treant. Cheshire Cat heading straight out there. There was an Invis Rune, doesn't actually decide to go for it. Now he does as he realizes they're coming in with the charge. And
nice.
The full stuff, nicking the Invis Rune. Cheshire Cat in a lot of trouble. Will time walk away. But with the Shadow Charge taking him down. Can they chase this one? No, they can't. Ace just says, lads, let's take the Roshan heading into the pit. And looks like they'll be able to do it. Quap, he's in a little bit of the middle of nowhere. Ace is going to take him a little bit of time to do at this point. Roshan has scaled fairly well. 1 minute down though on the Troll. Doesn't look like PR are going to be able to stop this one.
This is a really scary situation for PR. They don't want to buy back on their Troll, because if they buy back and then they don't end up getting the Roshan and the Troll dies one more time, it could actually just be game over. They go top lane or they just go for tier 4s and they end up just ending the game by killing the Throne. So now, I don't even know if, like, PR obviously still ahead,
yeah,
but they've made so many more mistakes that I don't really think that they needed to make. Like, why were they continuing to chase that far? Why didn't they just go get Roshan?
I wish I knew Draskov. 32 to 17. They still have the lead, but these fights, they're just coming off the back of it, and they can't seem to take any more racks or tier 3s off the side of Flipside. The Medusa's getting scarier and scarier. She's almost getting to the point where she's capping out in terms of farm. I mean, she's got 6k gold in the bank, and she's holding an Aegis.
Yeah. She has to buy bots. Yeah, here we go. Okay, she just sells her phase. And then after that, she goes for probably, I guess, another damage item.
Yeah.
I think she's tanky enough. Since there's only 1 MKB on PR, that means that if they sphere and ignore her, like PR did last time, that you're not really going to ever die. They're just going to go for the rest of your teammates instead of you, because looking at Medusa with Stone Gaze on and trying to focus you down with a BKB is a waste of your BKB. Like, you just can't do it. So we'll see how they decide to fight this one out, as right now, Flipside going on the offensive.
Indeed, they've got all 5 heroes ready to push down this bottom lane, trying to take down this final tier 2 from the side of PR. Straight away, Medusa onto the tower, and PR, they don't seem to have anyone to come and defend the tier 2. I'm sure they'll look to back up for this tier 3. They've got Cheshire Cat and the Skyrath Mage ready to go with the defense. But Ace straight in there, has the Aegis. He is not scared of anything at this point in time and has the full backup of his entire roster. Mid lane, Shashlo going for the rat, takes out the tier 3 on the bottom, heads towards the top. There's going to be a TP back straight away from the Vengeful Spirit. A charge as well, going for the Queen of Pain. They're all TPing back for this one. Quap blinks away. Bland's going to continue chasing this one down, maybe with the bash, and a Nether Strike can hold the Quap in place for the rest of his team to get there. He needs a bash. There's the bash and the swap, and whoa, the swap into the blink. Queen of Pain is able to blink away, but the BKB means that Rise can't quite find the stun with the magic missile. Will be able to blink out again, and Shashlo quite lucky to get away with his life there.
Nice play by PR, pulling Flipside back to their base, knowing that even at this stage, taking a 5-on-5 is still scary. What if they mess up one sphere, you know? Because that's all it's going to take, is if you mess up one sphere and Ace lives through the team fight, even with buybacks, I think you're going to be hard-pressed to kill that hero, much less kill him twice. And he's got 6,000 gold, so he can buy another completed item if he wants to, and have it on the courier for a push. If he loses the Aegis, he can just put it on himself, and then you have your 6th item as you respawn. So you come back stronger than they would have ever imagined, basically, if you want to quote Star Wars. But still very impressive that Flipside are even in the game. Like,
it really, I mean, we've seen so many situations earlier on where it's just like, wow, PR, they've done it. They've got the troll, they've got the faceless void. I mean, indeed, this Medusa doing a lot of work, still top of the net worth, and as you said, an incredible amount of money under Ace's belt. Level 24, nearly hitting the cap of 25. 52.5 minutes in. And every time we see Flipside come out of the base as a 5-man PR, they just don't seem to be able to punish it. The only thing they can do is kind of what we saw there with the Queen of Pain, going for the rat potential, looking to draw Flipside back each and every time. But in terms of killing the heroes, they certainly seem to be struggling. And the boys, he's got 3.2k gold, did pick up the refresher orb. Do you think at this point of the game that's the best idea?
Absolutely. There's no better 6 item for a void than a refresher. Your refresher, BKB, your Mask of Madness, and your sphere. So you have the potential to lock a hero down for 10 seconds if you time up your sphere as well, or you could just lock down their entire team for 5 seconds if you land 2 good spheres. Either way, it doesn't really matter. I prefer the staggering, but top lane.
The Quap getting caught out of position, the Shackle Shot connects, and bam! Straight away, Queen of Pain getting blown up, down for over 90 seconds, has got the buyback available. But he goes for the rat, and it doesn't pay off this time. This time gets punished by the full 5-man roster of Flipside. Now here we go again, into the mid lane. Ace leading the charge. PR, they might even need to buy back on the Quap if this Medusa keeps pushing at this rate. The backup of the Venge and Spirit Breaker are there as well. J4 into the guys and Nature's guys. And whoa, hang on. What's happening there? Void has killed the Tidehunter on the top lane. Yeah, went in. Tide was left on his own. That's a kill in return. Tidehunter down for 85 seconds. He does not have buyback. And he was a key part of this fight and this push. Ace maybe going to think twice before trying to head to the high ground without one of the key members of the team fight.
Cheshire Cat with the Redemption Sphere, bringing him back into the game. Because not having buyback is pretty annoying. With the Queen being dead, even being able to force that buyback is a nice thing, because it's 7 minutes before you can buy back again. So at any point, if they win another fight or kill him for whatever reason a second time, it's 4v5, which is really nice. And plus, it makes it so the hero isn't... If you're playing against Spirit Breaker with a Shadow Blade and he's charging you through lane, you can never see it, which is why he died in the first place. But if for whatever reason you want to try to rat, you just can't anymore if you don't have buyback. So you've bought back, you can only farm the woods really, which have leaves everywhere anyway because you have a Treant on your team. I just feel like normally I would say that the team with the Treant should have a huge advantage here, but it's not really pushing out the lanes, it's just soaking out the jungle farm. So it's not really doing that much right now.
I mean, looking at the two teams, they've both been playing rather passive.
Ooh, Hex.
What is the game plan? What are they waiting for?
I think Flipside, they're just waiting for their Wind Ranger to get more items. This Medusa is 6-slotted, like hard 6-slotted. Those are like 6 very expensive items, or at least 5, and obviously Boots of Travel, which are the best boots to have if you can't carry a TP. And then your Wind Ranger can still get, what, 1 or 2 more items? And then bots on top of that. So if you wait it out, it's not really that bad of a thing. And then you also have to think like 5-second BKBs, makes your Tidehunter Ravages that much better. You got Refresher Ravage. I think the team fight potential from Flipside is good enough to actually win the game if they continue delaying it. But again, a lot of it has to do with if the Wind Ranger can actually get some more farm. I think if she gets 1 more damage item, like maybe MKB, or even like a Maelstrom even adds a lot of damage at this point.
All right, they're going to smoke up now. Will be undetected by the side of PR. 5 heroes. Sorry, all they got all 5? Yes, they do.
Oh god, the DD Dream. It's so real.
Oh baby, Ace leading the charge towards the mid lane. I mean, they could pretty much pop Stone Gaze, go straight for the tier 4s, couldn't they?
Well, I don't think they'll go tier 4 with everyone being alive. It's a bit crazy. But they could pressure and force a fight, for sure. Like with the DD, with the lanes being pushed out this far, the PR can't rat, they have to fight it.
Oh, yeah, go Cheshire Cat. He's ready with the defense. Ace, he goes for the buildings. Now he goes for the courier. That is the courier down. There was nothing on it. Crit straight away with the blink into the Ravage. Cheshire Cat pops the Chronosphere, holding Ace in place. But Ace, so down. Tanky Mystic Flare coming down as well. Ace getting low. Ace looking to be in a very bad position. Gets swapped out by Rise. Cheshire Cat chasing it down. Will be able to find the kill onto the Medusa. 2 heroes down so far. Buyback from Medusa. Crit getting low to the Troll. He will go down as well. He buys back straight away as well. Maybe not in the fight. Finds the kill onto the Treant. Void to get taken down as well. Buys back. There's been 3 buybacks so far by both teams. King are getting low. Medusa straight back into this. This could be a dieback. There is your second Chronosphere, holding the Medusa in place. Crit blinking forward, trying to stop the aggression from King R. Medusa with the Manta Star, keeping herself alive, but she's out of mana. She's out of health. She's almost out of luck. Gets a nice stone gaze off. She's staying alive through this fight. Charge to J4. That's 3 heroes down. Ah, Flipside, they're doing it perhaps. No, they've lost the Medusa. Ditchera, he is alive, killing them all. Shackle shot from Baby Knight gets silenced up by the Quap. Scythe as well, chasing down Baby Knight on this Windbreaker. He will go down as well. 3 heroes down. On Flipside, King R trying to chase these people down. There's going to be a TP out from the Spirit Breaker. Crit walking through, blinks away. What a mess of a fight. Buybacks left, right, and center. Matt Draskell, you do the maths. Who came out on top there?
Definitely PR, not even a question. Crit's second Ravage didn't hit anything. He hit only BKBs. So when he Ravaged the second time, the Queen had already BKB'd. Everyone else, like, they killed the Medusa the first time without her having to use Stone Gaze at all.
Oh boy, I think this could be... Whoa!
It's game.
The range of that Quap ult,
they can't defend this. Their base is just going to go MIA. They could even throw in if they want to. Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
Wow, what a final team fight. I mean, it was pretty insane. That's Ra, he's getting psyched up. He's probably going to die. Bland never strike onto Ditchera. No, the bash is there from the troll. He says, no thank you, and get out my face. GG, well played, it is called. Flipside, they're going to tank the first game in this best of 3. PR take the win. But again, it's one of those games where you gotta admit, Flipside, they held on really well.
To be honest, it was pretty much PR making mistakes that kept them in the game. If they hadn't done what that fight mid, right, like none of that would have happened. No. Like it just would have been game over because they would have killed the Medusa straight away. There wouldn't have been any Stone Gaze, and it just would have been a complete massacre because they were significantly ahead for a large portion of this game. During the last team fight, they locked the Medusa down so hard that she couldn't use Stone Gaze at all. And then she came back, bought it back in, almost died a second time without even being able to use Stone Gaze because the Void refreshed his ulti, went back in with a second Chronosphere, and then he got Skywrath silenced out of the sphere. So he had to pop Manta, but he got bashed before he could Manta. So he was sitting there with Ancient Seal on, unable to ulti. Manta had got it off at the last possible second, and when that ulti